Welcome back to the BHAW Army Wrestling radio show. We have a special episode today. I have the four newly appointed team captains. So I'm up here on site at West Point. So we have Lane Peters, Bobby Held, Brian Hetick, and Bennett Paulson. And we'll take some time starting out, just introducing them, and so give you guys, as viewers, an opportunity to meet the team captains. So let's start with Lane.
Yeah, thanks. Lane Peters from Northeast Ohio. Went through the prep school in 2017, and then I've spent my 4 years here at the program, and I'm going on year 5 now. So.
Awesome. Bobby.
Yeah, I'm Bobby Held. I'm from New Hampshire. Like Lane and all these guys, went to prep school with them 2017. Went in my first year, and I wrestle heavyweight.
My name is Ryan Hetick. I'm from Bemis Point, New York. That is just south of Buffalo. Just like these guys, we were in the same prep school class there in 2017. This year I'm going to be wrestling 125, and yeah, going on to my senior year.
All right, I'm Bennett Paulson. I'm from Wisconsin. Like they already covered, we all went to prep school together and ready to attack that first year.
So just so everybody knows, this is it's Saturday, October 10th, first official day of wrestling season. So this morning, the team was, for the first time this year, the whole team was in there. They've been wrestling in pods, and we'll get into a little bit of that. You guys can talk about that a little bit, but it was good to get in the room, see you guys. Just everybody out there, team looks really good. Was really impressed with how everybody, just the effort, the energy. As everybody, a lot of people know, the team has been in pretty much quarantine, confined to West Point. You wouldn't tell by by the team there. They're up in high spirits. It was a good environment. So yeah, let's start out with just what's it been like at West Point. I talked to Coach Ward a couple weeks ago and kind of gave us a little rundown. But what's different about West Point this year with COVID, and how has it maybe changed throughout the year so far? One of you guys want to talk?
Yeah, I guess I can start. So we all came. Actually, Lane was the first one to come back in June. Things were really regimented. Like when you in process, you had to be in a specific lane, and they tested you, and then you went into quarantine for 2 weeks. We all came back in July, and we were kind of on hold into August, I guess you could say, in the barracks, and we couldn't wrestle at all. We were just doing our own workouts, and then once the school year started in mid-August, we could do informal workouts, but they were all outside. So what I mean by that is we would say, hey, we're going to meet up, down at Daly Field, and we're going to do a bunch of pull-ups, or we're going to do hit workouts or runs, whatever, flip the tires, but we could not, be in the wrestling room at all. And everything, we were on a spotlight. We had to keep our masks on. We always were under the impression, someone's watching us, make sure we keep our distance. It was just kind of one of the craziest times, in my life. And then, we transitioned into the year into September, and we were designated in these pods. We had, pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, pod 4. And you could come in with your pod, and you could practice on your side of the mat. So we had a line right down the middle, and pod 1 would be practicing on this side, and pod 2 would be practicing on this side from 3:30 to 4:30. Okay, you could only be on the mat for an hour. When your time was up, we have we call them the pit crew. Our our team this year, our managers are actually really awesome, and they have been doing a lot of work, because as soon as our practice is over, they get on, they spray the mats down, and they wash it, and everyone gets off the mat, and the new pods come on. So pods 3 and 4 would start at 4:30, and then they would go till 5:30. So it's just been a really unique experience, and a lot more has been on us as the team, to keep the guys in high spirits and discipline, because there's a big divide between the core and the wrestling team as far as the mentality. The core has never been stuck here before at West Point, as opposed to us. We haven't gone home for Thanksgiving. I've never been home for Thanksgiving in the past 3 years, and so we're just used to it. We just have such a close team, but the core as a whole is not really taking it that well, I would say. They're kind of down and all that. So that's a unique challenge that we have here, as captains in this COVID environment, to try to keep the team in high spirits. But yeah, Brian said, we had the first full practice today, and it was pretty cool to see us all practicing together. So these guys catch up on it.
Yeah. Anybody else want to interject on kind of, because we talked about previously with Coach Ward, you guys weren't allowed to leave posts. Now things have been kind of lifted a little bit, but people are still not going home for Thanksgiving. What's the plan across the core, and even with the team, for Thanksgiving. What are you guys doing?
Yeah. So basically, we got an email, I think last week, and the situation right now is from the commandant is that no one's going home for Thanksgiving. That's the whole core. So we're staying here through Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a couple extra days of class that we were planning to have off. Like I think Thanksgiving Day we have off, but the day before and the day after, we're gonna have class, and that's so that we can get kind of caught up for the rest of the semester, and then the whole core will have like a month break right after. I don't know when it starts.
December 13th.
December 13th, and then they get like we won't have a month off just for wrestling because we'll come back early. We got a shortened break, but like the whole core is gonna go home December 13th. They're gonna have pretty untraditional like a whole month break.
Like normal college.
Yeah, a whole month off, and then come back and kind of start the whole process over again. I think they're gonna have to probably quarantine, and I think they mentioned doing an online class for like the first couple weeks when they come back. So that we're gonna start next semester online to get everyone to come back, and while they're doing their like quarantine stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be like a reintegration period to make sure everybody gets back safe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. So bringing it back to being announced team captains. When I was going through, it was pretty much we had 2 each year. Has it been having 4? Coach Ward was on here a few weeks ago. He kind of went into a little bit about there's more people on the team than other sports, so that's why we picked 4. Someone talk about that process a little bit, maybe Lane, about how it's being chosen, whether it's formal, informal, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah, so something that I think Coach Ward has kind of adapted is typically we have a junior year captain. So before, or 2 years ago, it was Luke Weiland, and so we knew that the following year that Luke was kind of going to be a captain. And so at least in that transition period, you knew you had somebody. And so so in 2019, or 2020, I guess rather, I was a junior year captain, and so coming in this year, it was kind of like inherent. But then the system kind of like these men kind of rise to the top too, and they kind of choose them and themselves, and the team kind of chooses them in the sense that they kind of flock to their leadership and they lead by example. And so I think the terminology that Coach Ward uses is that they pick themselves kind of thing, and how they conduct themselves. And not just on the mat, but off the mat. And so, in terms of like being selected, it's one day at practice, Coach Ward will just, I think this year he had us all stand up and told the group that these are your guys' team's captains, and that was kind of it. It's kind of, there is no like democracy voting kind of thing, but like I said, it's just kind of inherent in the way that they conduct themselves, and it's an easy choice, but it's also kind of expected at our program now that everybody's a leader, and so while some have the title of captain, that everybody conducts themselves in a manner that they can look to that person and say, if everybody acted like them, how would our team be, on and off the mat? So yeah, we have the privilege of being named captain, but everybody on our team, I would say, even from the young guys, has a leadership position within our program.
Ben, let's hear from you. Being a little quiet on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's pretty much that way, and I would say the one thing that it's different going from just being on a team to being a captain, especially this year. We got to kind of enforce the whole mask thing, and we kind of got to be those people. But it's the biggest honor that I've had being at the academy. Is being named captain of these guys, and being with these group of guys that I've been with since prep school. It's been awesome, and it's certainly a responsibility that I'm honored to have. I don't really know what else there is to say.
So with you 4 as the team captains, like which one of you is like in charge of the 4 of you? Is it you, Lane?
Probably be there.
He's there.
I don't know if you guys if that's even a thing, or but I just thought that wasn't in the Google Doc either.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare them for that, so I wanted to put them on the spot.
I think we all kind of take our own little thing
Absolutely.
that we wanna like be in charge of. So like Hetick's the smartest, so once grades start coming out, like Hetick's probably gonna take kids to study hall, like things like that. So I think that's kind of like how so we're not stepping on each other's toes. Like we don't have any beef with each other. It's just kind of like, all right, you take this. I'm just gonna step.
It's inherently very cohesive, and it works out. We all know each other very well.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 of my best friends sitting right here, and it's like we know each other as well as we each know ourselves. So it works out pretty well.
Another thing is Lane he's on like a brigade position right now. He's like deputy captain. So he's kind of a big shot right now. But no, but honestly, he like
staff.
he gets to work with like a lot of people in ODIA. So it is nice that he like has the connection where he gets a lot of information and is able to just share it with us to send out to the team.
Yeah.
So it works out well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Coach Ward touched on it too. Like, our leadership styles are so different, and like different guys on the team will gravitate towards, certain captains. You can kind of see it. Like, some of the young guys are like, gravitate more towards Bob and connect with him more, Lane or me. So it's just kind of cool how we all have like that unique like perspective of like how we lead, like how we conduct ourselves. So it's just not like we're not like all like the same person like leading. It's kind of cool as far as that goes.
Yeah, that's a good thing about having four. I mean, you get a different touch of different leadership styles. And I thought it was great. At the end of practice today, Coach Ward, kind of hit on you guys are practicing twice on Monday, and how it's a privilege to be able to do that because it's really easy at the academy to feel bad for yourself and. And for all the listeners out there, he kind of touched on like people are going to come up to you and be like, "Oh, you have practiced twice on Monday? Oh, that sucks," And I won't say exactly how he worded it, but those aren't the people that that you need to be listening to and getting advice from. Those you don't want to be average. You want to be you want to be above average.
Right.
You want to be the best.
Those are opportunities to us, and they're not an obligation, and that's how we view it.
So let's get into goals for the year. We touched on a little bit about what's going on with the team. We don't know exactly what the wrestling season is going to look like, but what are some of the things you guys have established, as team captains or maybe as a team, for goals this year?
Yeah. So for our team goals, like we definitely want to send 10 guys to the national tournament. We got 7 last year, so we're really trying to send all 10 weight classes to the national tournament. Coming away with multiple All-Americans, WA trophy. And these are pretty much our basic goals.
It's hard to not see those goals when you use the bathroom in the team room, right in front of your face.
Strategic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what are you guys doing? Other than to get ready for that. What does the season kind of look like from now till it starts really January 1st? Is where the NCAA season I think is they've agreed to start. Do you guys have anything going before that or?
So
we
got
stepping stones along the way.
We know right now we have a dual meet schedule in November 6th against Air Force. So for us we're definitely focused on that and starting our season, not in January but now basically. And November 6th, first chance to compete. So we're definitely really excited for that. And then we don't know what it looks like after that. It may be we have a duel against Air Force November 6th, and then we don't compete again until after the holidays. So we don't know right now, but we're definitely prepared to just compete starting November 6th and then keep it going.
That sounds like a pretty cool weekend. It'll be Air Force wrestling Friday night, and then Air Force football Saturday.
And Coach Ward said it too. Like maybe the only college wrestling going on in the country, so it'll be pretty cool.
We get a flow down here.
Definitely.
Make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Anybody listen? If you know people flow, let's get the word out there. So this BHAW is obviously the name of the podcast. It's ingrained in the culture. I want to take some time. What does BHAW mean to you guys? Collectively, also individually. How was it first introduced to you guys? All that.
I'll start. So what BHAW kind of means to me is one thing that I've like kind of you fall back on your values in tough times. I think that's like the big thing. So when one day when I'm coming in and I'm stuck in, I do it for my brothers, because we're a brotherhood, and I need to make sure that I'm, especially as a it's an official title of captain, but I need to especially make sure that I'm doing it for them. Obviously just having that heart with the right attitude. So I need to have, without the right attitude, there's no way that I can possibly live up to, anything really within the room. And then just being a warrior, so just being tough is what that kind of means to me. And we break every practice down with BHAW, and it's kind of our family, saying. And in times I've always viewed, values as kind of, especially within certain teams, and especially ours, is kind of what you go back on when things aren't going well, when we're not having a good day, when someone's not having a good day. it's kind of like, all right, you know, well, you say BHAW every day, you know, you need to live that, and you need to have those values, you know, even in the most difficult of times if you've lost your way. So that's kind of what BHAW means to me.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I would just add to that by saying that, like, one thing that I think makes our creed unique is the fact that it's not based on our circumstance, like Bennett was mentioning, like, that there's no asterisk beside warrior that says, well, we only demonstrate this when we feel good. You know, it's all the time. You live it on the mat, you live it off the mat, and it's so we have a couple fellow BHAW brothers that are now on post, you know, and I was talking to one who had us over, Colonel McGinnis, the other day for ring weekend, and that just showed what BHAW means to us. The fact that Colonel McGinnis has never really met any of us in person prior to ring weekend, but because we're BHAW brothers, it didn't matter. You know, he was there for us, and that's just one example of many. That it just doesn't matter what the circumstance is. If you're part of that brotherhood, then it's something special, it's something unique, and you conduct yourself in a manner that demonstrates that.
I'm getting fired up just now.
I mean, like, you know,
scrap a little bit.
Lane, you know, talking about like that brotherhood, like that just runs so deep, like in our culture. It runs so deep, like in the guys who've graduated. And, you know, we were talking earlier about, like, what it means to be a captain. And, like, I'm just so honored to be a captain because I know that there are so many awesome guys before me, whether they're captains or not, on this team. And I'm just honored to have, like, this position and represent, you know, the brotherhood on and off the mat. And like Lane said, like, there's no asterisk behind, like, BHAW when times get tough, you know, we aren't, like, you know, the toughest brotherhood. Like, no. We are always consistent in how we approach things, and we just, like, tackle life head on. And we do it together, too. And that's the important part, that we're not, like, you know, so to say, tackle it by ourselves. We never tackle West Point by ourselves. We do it together, and that's the cool part about it, that, like, we live BHAW on and off the mat, and it's just ingrained in us, and, you know, it's just ingrained, like, you know, decades before. So that's just the coolest part, that we can take, like, that, you know, that just culture and brotherhood and just, like, help guys out on the team and really just, like, flourish in all areas of our life, you know. So that's what it means to me, for sure.
Yeah, I would just say, like, BHAW to me is just family. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of love in our room in BHAW, but, like, it's tough love too, you know. It's like, you know, you hold your brother accountable because you want what's best for him. Like, you don't hold back in the room because, you know, like, when he goes to steps on the mat to compete, like, the other guy's not going to hold back for him. So it's tough love. It's being hard on him, holding him accountable, then it's being there for him. It's like beating the hell out of each other for 2 hours and then putting your arm around a guy and, like, walking off the mat. It's like just a really special bond that I don't think a lot of people can really relate to.
Yeah, I think Kevin said, you know, Kevin said some funny stuff, but he's like, you know, we're family, you know, you love your brothers. Not who's going to like them, but you're going to love them.
Right, yeah. Absolutely.
That's funny. So, like, talk a little bit about, you guys all went to prep school together, been, you know, in this community for, you know, 4.5 years now, pretty much. How has the program evolved? How has the recruiting classes evolved over the times, or over the years? If you guys can hit on that and just kind of give the listeners a little perspective, you know, something for the future. I know Coach Ward came on and talked about the recruiting class, and, you know, I'm listening to the accolades of these guys. And I'm like, dang, I'm glad I went to West Point back then, because I wouldn't have been in that type of recruiting class coming out of high school. You guys touch on that a little bit and talk a little bit about the program?
Yeah, I mean, all I know is a lot, like, these plebes that we have on the team right now are tough. You know, I'm looking at guys like Thomas Dack and Lucas, and these guys are just, like, really, like, talented. Their technique is awesome, and you know, I'm just super excited and proud that, you know, they're on our team, and, you know, just seeing how far our team has come. Because, you know, when we came in here at the prep school, the culture it was just a lot different, you know. I could just see, like, the motivation on the team when I was there wasn't as high as it is now, and, like, people would, like, let West Point get to them more. Like, they'd be like, oh, you know, we have to go do, like, all these, like, West Point requirements, or, you know, formations or whatever. And now, like, we don't even let that bother us. Like, that's just one thing. Like, we're just, like, tough, and we do what we need to do, and we don't complain. You know, like, whether we're here for a break or not, like, that was a big thing I remember growing up. Like Lane said, it was like, back in the day, it was almost like an obligation to be here over break. Like, that's, like, kind of almost how I viewed it when I was here as a plebe. I was like, oh, I have to be here for Christmas. But now it's like, man, I have, like, an opportunity to, one, you know, get a lot better, two, separate ourselves, and three, just be with the brotherhood. So that's just kind of like a little bit of our culture change that we've had, and it's had, like, huge benefits. Like, it just makes life on the mat, off the mat, so much more enjoyable, and just, like, makes our bonds, you know, that much stronger. So it's been pretty cool to see that evolve through the years. So I don't know if these guys, can relate to that, but definitely
Yeah.
for me.
If I had to like piggyback off of that, it would just be the idea of like, from what I've observed, say when we were coming in as prepsters or freshmen, it was like when people had a difficulty, they would like, naturally kind of shy away from it. If I had to put one thing that distinguishes our program now between our freshman year, it would be the fact that we run towards those opportunities now, and we don't shy away from that, and we recognize that with those tough times comes growth. And the mindset now at our program is that we attack situations like that. And I think that's evident even outside the wrestling room within other athletic teams. People look to the wrestling team. We've won Team of the Year now for multiple years, I think in a row since we've been here. I think that speaks volumes about the way that we conduct ourselves and attack those opportunities. And we want to continue to be that program that other programs can look to and say, look, this is what it means to attack those tough times and to grow from them and appreciate them and attack them with gratitude and together.
Yeah. I think, when we came into prep school, like, one thing was going into the room for the first time. We'd go down to practice, down in the room, like, it would just be, like, brawls, and, like, guys like Samson and Minode and, like, Jack Wedholm, and these guys are just, like, tough as nails, getting after it, like, throwing each other against the walls. I'm like, man, like, this is college wrestling now. And I think, like, those guys were really tough, and they were talented, but now that we're able to, like, keep getting better and better recruits, it's like, we just want to make sure the toughness is still there, and I think that's like a unique job that we have, is like keep that culture and keep that toughness and even make it better. But now that we have like the talent coming at like up and up with it, it's like really like an incredible opportunity. It's really cool to see like these young guys that are just tough, but they're talented too, really talented.
Yeah, if I just like one thing that I would add, I think that everyone, kind of like when we were at prep or even on like our plebe year, like if you kind of make it to like first year now, like you're completely inculcated kind of within like what's expected of you. There's no there's no what is expected of you. Like there's a standard, and it like you know it. And I don't think that was really there when we were freshmen. So to see that, and now to have more skilled freshmen than we were, I think you can really start to see the program take off in ways that are awesome.
Awesome, appreciate that. Well, appreciate having you guys on the show. Anything you guys want to add? Before I think we got all the questions. Anything you guys want to add? You guys had branch night, or you guys picked your branch? Not branch night. You picked your branches yesterday.
Yeah, we had the preferences.
Was it stressful for any of you guys?
It was for one of us. It was really stressful.
Yeah, so I'll just give you a little story here. So yesterday at 1800, 6 p.m., we had to have our branches submitted for what we want to do, and we've had 4 years to think about this. It's not like they sprung it on us, and I guess I've been a little indecisive. I was thinking about what do I want to do? This is gonna be 5-6 years of my life. Like this is a big deal. And like 2 months ago, I thought I decided that I was gonna go field artillery. I was like, all right, this is me. I'm gonna do it. And then I talked to one of my sponsors, and I decided that I was gonna apply for some scholarships. So I was like, all right, what? I'm gonna put engineers number one because that's gonna help me get like a scholarship. At the end of the day, I was like, I'm not super passionate about engineering, so I might just try cyber. Like, I'm gonna interview, and I think it's the future. So I interviewed. Something I was pretty passionate about, and I put in my interview, and it was pretty bad. So I was like, all right, no way I'm getting cyber. So that's off the table. And so I'm going field artillery again. And 1 week before you put in your branch preference, the new thing they're doing at West Point is your branches rank you, right? So you have these bins. You have least preferred, preferred, and most preferred. And if you get most preferred by a branch, that means you're pretty much going to get it. And I was sitting there on Friday, and I saw that cyber put me as most preferred. So now I was just like, man, this is tough. So what I actually did on Wednesday night, I talking about the brotherhood, runs like deep. I was calling like guys who graduated in the past 3-4 years and hey, what's your life like? I called Jack Wedholm, called Burke, I called David Farr, guys I really looked up to growing up. David Farr was actually the first Army wrestler I ever met, so he was like I think highly of him. And I talked to him a lot about cyber and like the cool opportunities, and I was set. I'm like, I'm going cyber. And then I talk on Thursday. I'm
Thought
like,
the story ended there, but no.
nope. And Thursday comes around and I'm talking to Colonel Giss and some of these guys. And you're like, no, what, maybe I'll just send infantry. Like that's just kind of like, it's just kind of like the toughness of. That's like the West Point thing to do, right? Like, how can I not? I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm just a tough dude. Like, why wouldn't I do it? And I go to bed. I put infantry ahead of cyber. I wake up Friday morning, and we had to make weight yesterday, too, at 6%, so I was kind of, like, dehydrated, I wasn't feeling the best. I remember walking down to our lift at 6:10 down at Anderson Complex. I just had, like, this wrench in my gut, and I was like, oh, my God. I literally have not liked a lot of the infantry things I've done here in my career. Like, am I making a big mistake? Am I going to hate my life for the next 5 years, pretty much? And so I was debating. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I was at this, like, conference all day, just, like, my head was in, like, 30 million different places, and it was 3:30 p.m., and I'm just sitting there, debating on what I should do, and I said, you know what, I am not going to let someone else tell me what to do. I'm not going to let, like, the pressures of West Point and going infantry or what I should do that. I'm going to do it, I think is best for me and, like, something I could see myself doing. So I sent cyber to the top and went to practice. And no one knew I had cyber at the top. Everyone thought I had infantry at the top because I went up to Bobby's room and I told everyone that.
Do it.
And I was just smiling. I remember practice was over and I'm looking up at the clock and I see it hit, 1800, 6 p.m. I'm like, well, it's set now. So I started telling people and people are just like, are you serious? Like, you cannot make up your mind. So they made like a little meme of me, like the decision, like, like LeBron James. I decided cyber. I'm pretty excited. And it's kind of cool. We have Army wrestlers. So for like future Army wrestlers coming up, we have Army wrestlers in like every different branch and they're super successful. So don't think you have to go one branch to be successful. We have successful Army wrestlers in cyber. You talk about David Farr, Cal McCormick. We have successful officers, obviously, in infantry. I'm thinking like Jack Wedholm, Samson Minode. We have so many guys. You look at armor, Dr. Cook. We have across the entire spectrum, okay? Field artillery, one of my, favorite men, Major Simpson. So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day what you pick. You just got to kind of pick what you can see yourself doing and what you're passionate about. So that's my advice for anyone coming up. And please don't leave it to the last freaking week because it is emotionally draining. But we're good now. Cyber Corps, baby.
Shout out to also Major Rudy Chalednik, who's top of his branch in engineers. He BZ'd the major and won best sapper a couple years back.
Yeah.
Give old Rudy a shout out. He doesn't get a lot of love. He listens though. You wouldn't know. He doesn't. He's not a big fan of Army wrestling, but he is. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's not really right now. But anything else before we wrap this up and watch an Army football game?
I think we're good. Yeah. Just thank you guys for what you're doing for Army wrestling. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Army wrestling wouldn't be what it is without the support we have, so we appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, one more time, appreciate you guys coming on, and beat Navy.
Beat 'em.
Beat Navy.
Nope.
Thanks for tuning in to the BHAW Radio Show. If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. If there's something you'd like to hear on a future show, reach out to us on any of our social media, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Or you can reach us at email, bhaw.radio@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts, and as always, go Army, be Navy.